Our group will be researching the cost for each station and raising funds for the stations and to refill the sanitizer probably about every 2 weeks to 3 weeks. One question that I do have is, would we need like a permit for these stations?
You have it.
Okay.
You just got one.
All right, and that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I love the idea, the hand sanitizer. It's definitely important. Yeah, you guys are. 529 got it going on. You know.
Hey,
This
don't
is
say
an
that in front
indication
of
of
me.
we're in good hands.
Yes. I think they have clean hands with that.
Yes.
Good clean hands.
We are very good. If they want to go, you want to go home and plug the computers in so you could have the charge for tomorrow?
You don't have to stay.
Computers. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey, now it's empty. Now who is it?
No, I wasn't even going to do it. Hey, say hi to Marcella. Right?
They need to come back. 2 minutes.
Jack's doing tricks at us. He's rolling over and.
You showing off?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I was good, really. What was it?
Oh, it was a tarantula. I killed the bug with my hands. That's absolutely.
You're my hero.
Now they've got a rifle, I want to stay on the good side. Okay. Village curfew hours, we did go over that. The announcements, Friday and Saturday, October 30th and 31st, from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Anyone under the age of 18.
Without a parent or guardian. Obviously, if they're out with a parent or guardian, and there's other exemptions, they're allowed to be out. So it's just unsupervised.
Okay. Now, you already spoke with, well, you said Chris spoke to Chris Martino.
Sergeant Martin's going to reach out to Chris Martino, but you said there's 4 lights, right?
We have 4 lights.
So I think we need to find one. They'll reach out and figure out how many.
Sergeant.
Oh, because he'll reach out to Chris Martino.
Trunk or treat, received a text message today from Paul Neiman, who's looking to have a trunk or treat, either at, across from Betty's, in the municipal parking lot, or down at Burn Allen. He didn't give me the date, so I'm assuming it's Halloween, which is Saturday. So he wanted to know our feelings on it.
It might be the Friday, because that's what you usually do, is little hangouts there on Friday nights.
Oh, right,
Across the
okay.
days, yeah.
I think I spoke to Trustee Lodato before, and we think Burn Allen will probably be better.
Bigger. Yeah.
It's bigger, and you could walk to it and so forth, and he's open to it. He's also going to be doing the Christmas parade. So, we want to make a motion that we're okay with the trunk or treat.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, Trustee Kalora.
Yes.
Trustee Sampson.
Yes.
Trustee Lodato. Deputy Mayor Lang.
Yes.
Okay, I will call him and get more information on that, and just have him fill out the facility use.
And I have the newer form. I don't know if it's online now. I noticed the basic one that they
If you want to send it to me, you can print it out.
to the record. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll send it to the record. Resolution approval of Locust Street water meter, estimate from Joe the plumber, deputy mayor. Ryan.
All right, you didn't put the estimate in the pile.
Hold on.
So the estimate was for $27.50? Was that it? Oh, no, I got it here, $27.50. But I talked to Chris today. Let me give you some background on this thing here. Now, we've been here 3 years, or at least Joe and I and Rich have been here for 3 years. In our second year here in 2017, it was discovered we needed to replace the meter at the 2 Locust Street, which was at that time Spindler Bulk Transport. Then in 2000, so this meter was installed, this first meter was installed in 2017. At that time, they agreed to, Spindler would install a meter, Cole's Plumbing installed a meter, and from everything I can determine, that meter was installed incorrectly. All right? That meter went bad in 2019, and it wasn't reading. It stopped reading. It was going backwards. It was all kinds of. I learned too much about these things, and I don't know what I'm going to do with this information as I go through life. But I talked to the guy from Schmidt's Plumbing today, the salesman, and so we got a meter that was replaced in October 17, and in 2 years, in 2019, we replaced the same meter with the same model meter. And then that one was going screwy. So on the technical brief, in the last thing, and I sent a copy to, that $27.50 quote is for the installation. What they say is that it needs, and don't ask me what it is, when using a strain of 5 diameters of straight pipe separating the strain of upstream of the meter is recommended. Number one, from what I'm told, there is no strainer on that thing. All right? And there has never been a strainer on that thing. That's probably why the other 2 meters went bad. So there should be a strainer, and there should be 5 diameters of straight pipe. It needs a certain length of horizontal flow for the meter to read properly. It's a turbo meter, so it's a mechanical device, but then it turns that mechanical energy into electromagnetic to the top of it. And that's what happened the first time. They took the register off, they sent the register out. Basically, the meter is still incorrectly, and then JCO installed this meter. Now, I got the directions on how to install a meter. I'm not a plumber. But they're very here. It says you follow installation guidelines. A strainer is recommended to ensure optimum flow conditioning protection for the turbo meter measuring element. And we never had this is what I learned today. We never had a strainer. So moving forward, I text JCO and I asked them to find out from Joe the plumber if that $27.50. And I texted him a picture of the directions, the installation directions. I says, this is what we need. Is the $27.50 going to cover that? He says, it might, it should. He says he'll get back to him and go back to me and find out. And I had him asked him if there's a strainer on it. He said no, not that he knew of. And I don't believe, looking at it, the times that I looked at it, I don't see any strainer. Comes up on that 90 degree, and it goes right into the meter. It's certainly not 5 lengths of pipe. Well, I'm thinking it might be more to do the repiping. But apparently that meter has never been correct. Now, we had the other meter, and the conversation then morphed into, okay, I says, that meter was 2 years old. The other meter that was in there previous to that was put in, from what I talked to somebody in the village here, probably around 1970. So that meter was there forever, like the meters in our houses, most of our houses, those things last 20, 30 years sometimes. So I says, well, when we came in, that's when we started looking at the water bills, that's when we discovered that meter was bad then, but it probably had been bad all along. And that's when they were just getting bogus readings all along. When we started looking at the readings like there, and Brotherhood and everything else, then we said, hey, there's something wrong here. Change the meter. That meter that we changed to got bad because there was no strainer, apparently, and it was incorrectly piped. Now we're into this one. So before this one, I don't know if we can, since it's Baroda Realty now, maybe we can go through Will with this and tell them, listen, until we correct this meter, so it doesn't get damaged again, no water comes out of that pipe. Because it is a problem without the strainer. And also, and something that really upsets me, and we have a meeting coming up with JCO that we have to talk to them about. I have emails, going all the way back here, in my emails. The Badger meter was installed in October, I can't do that. Our Badger meter was installed in October 17th. Scott's been dealing with Badger after diagnosed with him. They're finally sending him a form to return the meter so we can resolve this issue. That's the meter that we took out from 2017. Do we have the meter? No, we don't have the meter. We don't know where the meter is. So the salesman I talked to today, he could have gotten an RGA, so it's a process, he says, but the meter goes back to Badger, and they basically have scientists cut this thing in half and analyze the whole meter and break it down, take it piece by piece, and determine what went wrong with it. And if there was something wrong with it, they'll give you a brand new meter right there. But we don't have the meter. And these guys knew that we wanted to reply. I have in all these emails about getting refunds and calling them up and saying, you know, when are we gonna get this thing done? Hey, Paul, talk to Badger today, finally went over to the registry, they're sending us a new registry under that meter for a warranty, yada, yada, yada. And it's been going on and on. Please call Badger, tell them 2 to 3 weeks is unacceptable. I don't need them, I won't say what, to around to see what we can see to fix this thing or not. So it's been going on since October, November 2019. And now they take the meter out, they replace a new one, and again, I'm not a plumber at all. But I can read these directions and say, okay, this is how it's supposed to be in. I don't know why the people, Coles initially, and whoever put the original meter in, and now JCO, why they can't read these directions and put the meter in properly. So that's where we're at. That's if we want to get readings at that meter, we're gonna have it repiped. That $27.50 estimate, I don't know if that's gonna be a good estimate, once Joe the plumber finds out what actually has to be done. So I'm ready to wait until we find out what the real estimate is, number one. And number two, if we can tell, since it's not a bulk water company anymore, can we tell them, and it's not running, they have another meter that's for the building, so that's separate, doesn't have anything to do with this, but this is the bulk 3-inch water main. Can we tell them, don't pump any water out of that, that meter is shut down until we repipe it? I don't know what deal Baroda Realty has with, you know.
I can answer that. I met with Dio yesterday. There is no agreement between him and Spindler.
Okay, so then we should be able to
So
tell
it's
them,
easy now.
we should be able to tell them, don't pump any water.
Yeah, so I spoke to Will just before, maybe 5 o'clock. Going to sit down with Spindler tomorrow and say to him that we're going to allow you to pump half of what you're pumping now. Now, after hearing this,
I would say
maybe
nothing.
you're not pumping anything until we fix this problem that we have. The question I have is, we had plumbers install this thing.
You had Coles,
And the
and
fact,
you had JCO.
and if, I'm sure the specifications of this meter has not changed.
No,
Why did no one follow them?
I don't know.
Okay,
That's what we need to ask JCO when we meet with them.
and Coles, and Spindler.
Well, yeah, Spindler paid Coles to install.
Are you sure the village did not install this at all?
Spindler paid Coles in 2017. Spindler paid Coles.
meter.
Huh?
Didn't buy
We
the
bought the meter, but Spindler paid Coles to install it.
Right, so it still costs us a lot of money to the meter.
Yes, it did, and that's the meter,
How much is it?
I think it was $1,100, $1,200. But that's the meter that we don't have, that we could have sent back to Badger and got replaced.
So then we pay for that again,
Yes.
JCO.
With this meter we have there now, with the meter we have there now.
So apparently the meter's 3,300.
plus repiping now.
Now, okay, to repipe the meter, is it 1, 2, 3, or is there other work that has to be done? Is there room for that 5-foot?
I don't know, I'm not a plumber. You'd have to go to a plumber, but then plumbers were there before, so they'd have to look at this and say, we can do it, we can't do it. I mean, there's a lot of room in there, it's inside the thing, there's a whole wall.
If we're not going to use it as a village well, or even if we are gonna use it as a village well, why can't we just cap, or not cap it, shut that line off? And then if needed, we turn it on, we don't even need a meter, if it's only the village water.
Well, that was my suggestion too,
That's
if
the cheapest way.
we're not gonna
Turn
use it,
off.
Yeah.
if we're not gonna use it, then we
Shut
don't
it
even
off.
have to repipe it, but
Right.
there should be a screen in there.
Right,
Because if you remember, they were complaining about brown water, and that might have
That's
been,
probably it.
that stuff going through the lines, and because of it's a scientific thing over here, it creates a vacuum, and if it comes off the 90 and it's not